Hello and welcome to the podcast, We Are Selling. Each month we've been hearing some amazing stories around the appraisals that have been generated from digital prospecting. And digital prospecting, yes, we've got the price update and we've listened to those results, but now there's an interest in AI and what's happening on that. We've had a 50-50 result with AI. Some people saying great, some people saying not, but obviously that would come down to the sequence, the quality of the data, and actually how you're approaching the whole situation. So what I thought I'd do today is bring in a great success story. River Realty in Maitland, New South Wales, actually got 135 appraisals last month. This was a record month for the team, and they're usually targeting 90 appraisals a month. Now, Andy Brownhill is part of that leadership team, but also the person in charge of the AI, the database, the lead generation. So Andy is not listing and selling real estate. He is part of the leadership team. He joins us now. Andy, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Lee. Great to be here.
Now, Andy, just for our listener, especially in other countries, what is your role at River?
So my role is general manager. We've got main components within the business, obviously the sales side of the business. We've got property management, and then we've got our operations team. So really my focus is with that back-end system to help support the agents in what they need to do.
Take us into your role in lead generation. What do you do on behalf of the agents?
My role actually was just the implementation side of it. So I've got a great team in customer service that manage it now, but really what we wanted to do is we were going down the traditional route really in terms of utilizing our database and calling through the database and even utilizing someone in a specific lead generation role to do that for quite some time. The only problem with that is just the amount of volume of calls that needed to be made. So, we've got a largish database, especially for a more regional area of about 45,000 people in our database. So, to make that level of calls is just practically impossible. So we started looking at where technology might be able to help us.
You've created I don't know what to call it, Ruby. What is Ruby?
So Ruby is just the name that we utilize for our system, which is Rita by Air. We decided to create a persona around our database combing machine. So she's our lead generator.
So take us into that, because there's been a lot of noise about this type of work, and give us some results or what some of those stats have been from the actual process of using AI.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I think it's probably important just to have a look at what our main objectives were for utilizing something like this. Everyone loves clean data. Everyone talks about it, but it's really difficult to maintain. So first and foremost, we wanted clean data. We wanted to create a high volume of quality conversations. We wanted to create a reason to contact people. That's massive. Speaking to agents all over the place in different areas of the country, I always talk about what is the reason to contact and creating quality relationships over time. So with a large database of 45,000 people, the opportunity was there of who do we contact and what do we say. So really that was the main objective. And then everything that came from that, which, going into these numbers now, in the 3 months that we've been utilizing this system, the AI system Ruby has created 14,968 conversations. So as you can imagine trying to make 15,000 conversations in 3 months time. That's, it's equivalent of 20 calls a day over 750 days. From that, we've received responses. It doesn't seem like a lot, but 15% of those actually create a response, which means people are actually engaging with the AI technology as a person to have a conversation with. We've had a very low unsubscription rate as well, only 3%, which is, in my opinion, a good thing. It's clean data. That means that person isn't needing to be helped right now with any real estate transactions. From all of that, if you want to get into the nitty gritty of those figures, it's created appraisal leads of 190, and 80 of those turned into in-house appraisals as well, in-person appraisals. The remainder either went on to a price update or a follow-up for scheduled tasks.
Absolutely amazing. And Andy, when we talk about a connection or a conversation, what was the actual thing that was being said or communicated through to the potential sellers?
Well, there's three main areas. So this is where I know in the next 90 days, so we've just done our introductory 90 days. Our next 90 days are going to be expanding this, but we really just wanted to focus on three main targets, and that's our buyer nurturing. So that's basically updating buyer requirements. It's identifying people in our database who have said that they're looking to buy a property, and it's contacting them to make sure, firstly, are they still looking? And secondly, what exactly are they looking for? The second is owner nurturing. So that's identifying people who actually own a property in the areas that we work. So for those people, it starts the conversation off with suburb-specific information or sales results in that area. So that's utilizing a mixture of our data and also CoreLogic data as well, just to send information about and offering a price update. And the outcome from there is, if they like a price update, are they actually better suited to an in-person appraisal too? And then thirdly, we're just looking for some data cleaning. So as you can imagine, in a database of 45,000, there's a lot of information in there that might just be names and numbers. And we want to get to know people a little bit more. So that conversation's a little bit more loose, and it starts off with non-specific information about the market and whatnot. And based on their responses, the idea is to either update them. Are they potentially looking to buy property, or are they looking to potentially sell property further down the track?
Is it by text or email?
It's all SMS at the moment.
This is just an amazing story because, text message, unless it's known to you or unknown to you, there's always been that concern with all the scams going on. What's been the response?
Well, the response, it's interesting because there's one thing that I've been surprised about, the amount of people that actually call the office and say, hey, I've been chatting to Ruby. Is she available, please? As advanced as it seems to be able to update buyer requirements and help us book appraisals, she doesn't actually have a voice yet. So at the moment, we are forwarding those calls through the customer service team. But look, with only 3% unsubscription rate, the take-up has been really positive. We're finding that a lot of people are more willing. Maybe it's just a sign of the times, but people are more willing in a lot of instances to continue a conversation in a text message, to the point where our customer service team have been booking appraisals purely from SMSs alone. Obviously, we get a bit more information after the fact, and you can't beat that personal touch with a phone call, but it's not necessarily for everyone. And we just feel like we can cater for people that want that instant hit of getting what they want when they want it right now, or, we can then service them a little bit more with a customer service representative.
Absolutely amazing. And Andy, what's been the big learns for you, especially for anyone who's listening to this program thinking, okay, I'm interested in trying this out? Well, what was the things, where would it go wrong, and what was your big learns?
Look, I'm going to put my hand up and put myself in the camp of somebody that was somewhat skeptical to begin with. I looked at this some time ago when it was more in its infant stage, and I talked to the management team at River before, and I'm just like, don't know if it's for us, not sure how it would work. At the end of the day, for the investment, I don't think you could have as many conversations as Ruby is having. It just seems impossible for that investment. And it's not just saying, I'm going to park my database and they're only going to deal with a robot. That's not what it's there for. What it's there for is, Ruby's helped us by starting the conversations and pointing us to those that need our services. That's really all it's there to do. She's not there to, take the role of anybody within the office. She's there to help us facilitate our great customer service and help facilitate people who need real estate services.
Yeah, she's triggering the conversation for the actual humans to, well, really, it's like reverse engineering, warming up the data.
Exactly. So, as I said, there's, 15,000 conversations started in the past 3 months. So you'd be hard pressed to be able to do that with a staff member or multiple staff members. So to be able to rely on technology to do it, find out who's worth having the next level conversation and really creating that escalation call. That's really what it's about.
Andy, in a weird way, I saw a photo of Ruby yesterday. Tell us what happened there.
So when we implemented Ruby, or implemented Rita, and then gave her her own River Realty persona. So a few of us in the office were like, look, we're sending the information out. It's signing off as Ruby for all intents and purposes. And for a lot of people out there, she is a real purpose. She is a real person. So I said to, Lachlan, who's in our media team, who's a whiz with this sort of stuff, I was like, I need you to make Ruby a real person. I want a profile on the website. So he got all of the headshots of all of the ladies in our office. He uploaded it into an AI image generation, gave it a few prompts. Young professional female, I think, was the prompts, and it spat out an amazing picture, which is in the style of our River headshots as well. So then a bit of a creative write-up as well. So I think one of our writers gave her the surname McIntyre, because I think that there's a gentleman in the very early stages of setting up artificial intelligence. His surname was McIntyre, and the rest is history.
Absolutely amazing. So what do you do when people say they do want to speak to Ruby? Yes, it goes through to customer support, but how's that conversation handled?
Oh, it's just handled as if somebody in Ruby's team answers the phone instead. That's all. It's generally, you don't necessarily want to tell people, oh yes, you've been talking to a robot, because I think that's probably a bit jarring, but you don't want to, lead people down the garden path and also pretend to be someone that you're not. So just a case of, oh, I can see that you've been talking to Ruby. I know that you're looking at getting a price update at your property there in East Maitland. Every property is different. Rather than get a generic desktop appraisal, would you be interested in meeting our area specialist? So it's just treated as a full-blown, more like an inbound request at that point.
So, Andy, this has been a massive learn for you, and you've seen the results come out of it straight away. And just for our people around the country, what is the total sales team size, just so people understand the numbers here?
So we've got a sales team of about 12.
In a sales team of 12, what's a good month of sales at River?
We like 30 to 35 sales would be good per month.
Excellent. So when we look at 20 appraisals coming in a week purely from this, because then you've got the agents on the ground with their buyer management, one-to-one work, the referrals, the established client database coming in, it makes for a powerful, very powerful listing system, because everyone right now is saying they're short of stock except this team. When I heard the results of, 135 appraisals in the month, that is a constant flow. So if you're relying just on the marketplace reaching out to you or popping into the open, there's no way you're going to see that numbers. What's the next best listing stream that you have coming in separate to AI?
The individual agent's activity, 100%. As you know, Lee, signboards make signboards. So the more we're doing, the more we can capture that in that regard. So we do have a lot of inbound requests for that, and also based on agent prospecting. But we've got such a strong focus on just saturation in terms of the information and the branding and the marketing that we put out there. So right from, very light marketing in terms of, hooks in terms of anybody that may own a property and getting that data and introducing them to River, right through to people that have sold 3 or 4 times with the company. So, what we don't want to do is put all our eggs in one basket. We're saturating in terms of, where people see us, the information that they trust. And, I think we've really embraced what you've said previously and countless times, Lee. We always try and preach info over ego. That's the main thing. We've become a trusted source for information.
And Andy, with the learning of AI and the results that we're seeing out of it, what's the company now doing in the way of mailbox drops or the traditional marketing? Has that stopped? What's happening there?
No, that's still going on. I think there's still a place for that. I think it doesn't actually, in my opinion, I don't think the vehicle of how you get information out there actually matters. I just think that the information you're providing needs to matter. And if it's not informative and it's just the same old message that people have been doing for 10, 15, 20 years, that's probably what needs to change. People aren't interested in that same old message. They're interested in actually something that can help them, whether that's in a real estate transaction right now or not. I think that's the main thing, is how can you help your community?
Well, Andy, absolutely brilliant information, and congratulations on the implementation of this. I know you get all the interesting gigs there at River when something's coming in. And I think that's because you do have a background in education. Just share that with us of, how you've been able to help the whole team through education and then implementation.
I think it's probably a good background, both education and implementation and operations, is just being able to look at what some people would perceive as a problem. I'd prefer to look at things as opportunities. What is the opportunity and what can fix it? My background in education and, of course, working with you, Lee, for those years has really helped me, not only just in real estate specific terms, but just being able to solve those opportunities that come our way.
Excellent. Well, Andy, I want to thank you for joining us on the program, and we look forward to speaking to you again in the future.
Thanks, Lee. Really appreciate it.
And that concludes another podcast on We Are Selling. For those of you that would like to explore the price update in our incredible product pitch, you can go to realtair.com and request your demonstration. But digital prospecting is definitely connected to the community and now a preferred channel of receiving content. I'm Lee Woodward. I look forward to seeing you at the Complete Salesperson course one day. Till next week, goodbye.